Went to go see Hunger Games. I almost said the wrong film. Wow. Wow, this is starting early. The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. I've said this in my previous Hunger Game videos, which are not on YouTube, not on the internet anymore. What I've said in the first one where I was like, yeah, it's very Battle Royale, but I bet I'm not the only one who said it. And I know there's a lot of people who say, give you shit about it if you do the comparison, but whatever. That was my thought. The second one, I enjoyed to a degree, but I felt like it was like the same thing again. It's a rehash. Philip didn't quite like the second one. Like it was, kind of there for him. He was fine with it, but he felt like it was kind of boring. This one, we both enjoyed it a lot. It's the whole like, we're getting ready for the revolution, and we're getting ready for this. So this whole movie is pretty much we're getting ready to fight, like big battle in the end kind of shit. Of course, because Phil and I are assholes, we were kind of like making jokes throughout the entire movie. Believe me, whether we like a movie or not, we're always gonna joke about it. So yeah, like with this one, like, we made jokes saying that, she wakes up in Resident Evil. Because, she's in, like, the hospital thing, and then, of course, I made, like, that stupid, like, my name is Alice kind of joke. Picks up right when, like, the last one left off. She wakes up, oh my god, District 12 is completely gone, oh my god, shit happens. And then it's like, we gotta figure shit out from now on. So they're in District 13, the district that isn't there anymore, but now it is, kind of thing. She thinks, PETA is hurt or whatever shit. There were a couple parts where they brought back the first movie shaky cam thing again, and that was really fucking annoying. Because it wasn't just like, in the first one, when they did that, it was just kind of like, whip pan, going, oh my god, that person's running there, that. And it kind of made sense why they used it, because it's like, it's showing the chaos, This one, they're doing the same thing, but it just looked like a commercial for Call of Duty, just because of, like, how the set was. Because the first one was just like, kids are running here, they're running there, we gotta follow. And Gale was fucking Daryl Dixon with his fucking crossbow, and then they gave Katniss the Hawkeye bows. Like, this one blows things up, and this one sets things on fire, and this one, has shawarma attached to it, kind of thing. When they showed the bow, I was like, that looks like Hawkeye's bow. Anyway. But yeah, it looked like Call of Duty, because you see them, like, it's the whole, like, it's a desolate, kind of city thing, and they're running up the stairs, and there's rubble everywhere, and the camera's just following behind, and we're just kind of like, get the steady camera. It's really not hard. The camera guy just wears it on his body. It's very still. It's like a chicken's head, like, it doesn't really move. Like, the guy could run behind it, and he could be, like, steady. It's a whole, like, I don't really need to be that fully into the action with them. I'm really glad this wasn't in, like, 3D or something, because that just would have been ridiculous, and just, because it happens so many times where we're like, okay, like, we get it, it's chaotic, and, shit's blowing up, people are dying, just ease up on the shaky cam, because they were starting to go into freaking the, like, Die Hard 5 territory when it came to the whole, like, camera things and stuff happening, and you're like, oh my god. We were making a lot of Terminator references, of course, because it's like, you gotta fight Skynet. Like, pretty much this was what this movie was that they were the Resistance, like the Mockingjay, they were the Resistance, and they have to fight Skynet, and then that's great, like, people have said, like, there are only, like, really 5 stories in the world, and nothing's really original anymore, and they're just being retold, so that's pretty much what it is, and it's fine, as long as you can tell it well, and it's not like, wow, Avatar or something, she's like the spokesperson for the revolution and all that shit, and you're like, go right ahead, fuck yeah, kick ass, and they're trying to get her to do, like, to, like, act and, do, like, this kind of commercial thing, but it obviously came off really fake, and so they were like, okay, they kind of went with her, like, within, like, I think District 8 was, like, all broken down. That's when, like, the Call of Duty shit happened. And they got, like, the first, real reaction where, things are, like, on fire. She's like, you're like, if we burn, you will burn with us! Like, whoa, shit. Whoa. And you got, what's her name? Natalie I always forget how to pronounce her last name, but, she's been in, like, Game of Thrones, all that stuff. Love her to death. They need to cast her for Captain Marvel, for fuck's sakes. Anyway, so she's there, with the whole shaven head, looking awesome as always, and she's kind of like being, in a sense, a reporter more than part of the resistance kind of thing, like her and the guys with, like, the cameras and shit. And she's like, Katniss, tell the folks at home, what you've won, it was kind of like that kind of shit, like, well, Katniss is having this emotional shit happening. Like, oh my god, they just blew up like a hospital for fuck's sakes. You know, she's like, fuck, oh my god, I came here and I killed all these people, like, because I'm here, you know. And this girl's like, all right, come out, look in the camera and tell us what you think. Just, you know, it was just kind of a little fucked up, but that's the whole point, you know. The whole time I kept thinking was like, there was like this black guy was there, and all I kept thinking was like, just please don't just kill the black guy because he's the black guy. You know, like, just stop killing off the minorities in these stories because it's really fucked up, you know. Philip Seymour Hoffman, I don't think he's CG'd at all in this movie. I think that's all him, because, random side note on that, once the credits rolled, of course it said, like, in memory of Philip Seymour Hoffman. And there were a couple people in the audience going, oh! And I'm just kind of like, did you not know that the man passed away? Because it was kind of big news. Side tangent. Yes, this movie has, like, you know, the audience is more for younger people, but for fuck's sakes, the amount of, like, kids, like, really young, like, tweens are in the audience, and it's just like, they have no manners. You know, it's like, you're in the middle of fucking Manhattan, why, who, like, your parents just letting you out of the house? Especially with, like, your fucking, like, expensive-ass, like, iPad that you have with you. Anyway, it was just really annoying, because like, they did the whole, like, please stop reading every billboard that we drive past kind of thing, when there was, like, the preview, like, slideshow shit. I was getting snacks, but Philip told me that they were just kind of, like, reading out loud everything, and it's like, you kind of see, like, after the whole, like, you know, like, you will burn with us kind of shit, you know, like, other people in other districts are starting to kind of, like, you know, go with it, you know, like the lumberjack district, like, all of a sudden, they just start, like, rushing. They just start, like, bum rushing the Daft Punk guys. They're running up the trees, you know, because they're lumberjack districts, so they're just climbing up the fucking trees really quickly. And then, you know, they repeat her line, like, if we burn, we'll burn with us. And they just like, oh, we're the lumberjack / explosive, you know, district, and they all, like, burn and die. And it's like, yeah! And then there's a part where they go into a quarry where I think, like, Walking Dead was filmed. That seemed like season 1. Anyway, they're in the quarry, and then, like, you know, she starts singing a song. Of course, they recorded it, and then they put it over another one, like those kind of, like, propaganda commercial thingies that they had. And so then another district, I think District 5 was it, that they all started marching, singing, and it becomes like Les Mis all of a sudden, because they're all, like, ratty, and they're all like, do you hear the people sing? And you're like, holy shit! You know? And that part we kind of, we kind of, like, laughed about, because it was just like, okay, now it's becoming Les Mis, and it's getting a bit much. Like, we get it, like, you know, you come together, and you fight, you know, for the common good, because you fight evil, you gotta, you know, fight the machines, you know, it's Terminator. The whole thing has become Terminator, and it's totally fine, you know. Yeah, so they fight all that shit, and the whole time you're like, oh god, is PETA alive? Is PETA dead? And then you're like, oh, PETA's on TV, but he looks kind of odd, and I don't know, like, you know, obviously, I'm not surprised, again, because seeing, like, movies like this for so long and all that shit, that, of course, they would kind of, like, fuck with him. So, of course, in the end, they kind of, you know, like, grab him back, grab Joanna back, where she's just buzzed like fuck. Like, seriously, if they didn't say her name, like, it took me a little bit longer to realize that's Jenna Malone. It was one of those, like, right, that is her. And then it's, I think, the pretty boy's sister, cousin person. I don't know, I don't remember, because I think he said sister once, but then when he saw her, he just started making out with her. I don't know. Whatever, some families are weird, so I don't know. Anyway, but his loved one, he's got back. And so, of course, like, she goes in a room, and PETA, like, it looks really, like, thin. You can even tell because you see him from behind. He's got his bleach blonde hair. And, of course, he starts attacking her. Just starts fucking raging on her. And you're like, holy shit. And then I love that black guy comes in with a fucking bedpan and just whacks him in the back of his head. So they're like, oh, yeah, he's been, like, reprogrammed, and he, you know, all that stuff. And like, Phil and I just kind of looked at each other like, are you surprised? You know, like, this happens. Movie ends with PETA inside Magneto's chamber freaking out. Sorry, like I said, we were made jokes in referencing like everything. There were tons of references to Jurassic Park as well, just because they were underground at one point and things were exploding and shaking, and of course we were just anytime there's a big like boom sound, we're like, is that a T-Rex? Again, because we're assholes. And of course we were laughing at every time there was an explosion. The people hiding were like, woo! Woo! Like, okay, you should know by now that's gonna keep happening. Like, just gonna need you just to just chill it out a bit. Anyway, Mockingjay Part 1. We really liked it. We did. We really, really did like it a lot. Let me just quickly go over the damn trailers. Night at the Museum. It's Night at the Museum. They're going to Britain this time, and Rebel Wilson's there, and awesome. The Interview, which is the Seth Rogen, James Franco thing. Probably will see it just because it's one of those like stupid funny movies, like This Is the End and all that stuff. So, you know. Pitch Perfect 2, I don't know. Like, I only watched the first one because, again, for Rebel Wilson. Probably could have watched the second one probably just for her, but I didn't watch the other one in theaters, nor do I think I would watch this one in theaters, you know. Then there's Project Almanac. What the fuck was that? Right, Project Almanac. That's the found footage produced by Michael Bay thing, which is pretty much, it's time travel. It's like if Chronicle also had time travel with really, really annoying people in it. Because I really enjoyed Chronicle, but this one had really, really annoying fucking people in it. And, you know, the whole, like, you travel in time, and of course, it's like, it's the whole, like, you abuse it, so you fuck it up, and then shit goes real, and people start going into this weird, like, blurry thing, like, I'm here, don't, you know, anyway. It's just, the moment I saw Michael Bay, I was just like, stop. Then it was Woman in Black 2. The trailer looked really creepy, but I'm not sure. Because again, the trailer just seemed like jump scare heavy. Herbie? Anyway. Then it was Duff, which is some teen movie about... It was a... Duff stands for Designated Ugly Fat Friend, which, you know, some of us feel like it's happened so many times. Anyway, it's one of those kind of movies, like the ugly girl is gonna, you know, get better by putting on some makeup and looking better. Like, honey, just gain a personality and people will like you, believe me. Then it was Insurgents, the Divergent series, Insurgents, which this trailer had me cracking up in because, what's her name? Shailene Woodley, her. She shows up, and then there's Ashley Judd. It's like, hi, I'm Ashley Judd. I'm in this doorway of this house in the middle of this road. And all of a sudden, like, a fire just happens behind her and in front of her. But it was, like, knee-high fire, so you just kind of hopped over it. But all of a sudden, she's like, help me! I'm like, you could have just walked over. Anyway, I just started laughing, and then the house started to fly, and then she was, like, George of the Jungling on, like, freaking power lines. And that was the trailer. So, I don't know. I didn't watch the first one. I really don't care for this series. Sorry, that's just it. And then the last one's called Age of Angeline. Anyway, it's one of those really sappy fucking love stories where she's a woman. I think it's Blake Lively. I think that's the main person. Anyway, she's a woman who doesn't age. Sure. And so she lives forever. She goes through all these, like, you know, generations or whatever and all that stuff. And she can never find love, you know. And it's one of those where I was sitting there just like, fuck, I just want to, like, slip my wrist right now. And, like, Phil's just like, oh, that seems so cute. I'm like, you know. It's just one of those, like, I've really never really fallen for anyone because you don't get to grow old with them. And it's like, anyway, yeah, so all that aside, I don't know what the next movie will probably be The Hobbit, because it's the third and last one, because goddamn, because we need 3 movies for that one tiny book. Anyway, I'm tired, I'm gonna watch Walking Dead and all that stuff, yeah. Oh, follow it. Turn it off. And then all I see is a circus tent in the middle of, as just like the previous one, it's very Saw feeling, you know, with the